Welcome you all to the course on discrete time signal processing. Myself Mr. K. Arun Kumar, and this lecture is about introduction to finite impulse response filter. In the previous we have completed 2 units, that is discrete Fourier transform and infinite impulse response filter. In the design of IIR we had some drawbacks or the issues. They are nothing but we cannot expect that IIR is always stable system, and other important thing is, so in the IIR it producing non-linear phase response. Okay. Now these 2 drawbacks will be overcome in the finite impulse response filter. Now this lecture is going to explain how FIR filter is said to be always stable and how it producing linear phase response, and what are the some drawbacks in the FIR system, and the frequency response of FIR filters. These topics will be discussed in this lecture. The first point is FIR filter is always said to be stable system. How FIR filter is always said to be stable system? For that, first we will take the generalized transfer function for any FIR. So the transfer function is given as h of z is equal to summation k is equal to 0 to capital M minus 1 h of k z to the power of minus k. The stability of any discrete time system is defined by location of poles and zeros. If poles are located inside the unit circle, then I can say that system is said to be stable. If any poles lies outside the unit circle in the z plane, then I can say that system is unstable. Based on that concept, now this h of z is having zeros alone, there is no poles here, okay, which means that poles are always located at the origin. Okay, so it's having only zeros, there is no poles. So if there is no poles, irrespective of the design specifications, FIR is always said to be stable. The reason is poles is at the origin is always inside the unit circle. Okay. The second point about FIR is this system is non-recursive, which means that the output of the system should depends only on the present input or past input and so on. So it does not depends on the past output. And third point, FIR filter is always a linear phase. Okay. So how it is linear phase? For any FIR system, specification should satisfy the condition h of n is equal to plus or minus h of m minus 1 minus n, where capital M represents order of the filter, where small n takes the range from 0 to capital M minus 1. Okay. So what they are trying to say is h of n, that is impulse response of any FIR filter, should be equivalent to plus or minus h of m minus 1 minus n. Okay. What is this plus or minus indicates? Okay. So to producing linear phase, the FIR filter is having 2 different categories, that is one is symmetric, the other one is asymmetric. The symmetric represents h of n. Okay. So what's the condition to be a symmetric? If h of n is equal to h of n minus 1 minus n, then I can say it is a symmetric. Okay. For example, I can say like this. Okay. So with respect to this, okay, so the value of 3 4 5 is equivalent to the value of 0 1 2, or I will draw clearly. Let us consider this is 0 and 1 and this is 2. So here the order is 3, here the order is 3. So if order is 3, small n takes the value 0 1 2. Okay. So the with respect to this 1, okay, my system is symmetry. Okay, which means that h of n is equal to h of n minus 1 minus n, once again where n represents order of the filter. If it is antisymmetric or asymmetric, then h of n should be equivalent to minus of h of n minus 1 minus n, as well as the center value should be 0. Okay, that is h of n minus 1 by 2 should be equal to 0. Okay, this both are producing linear phase response. Okay, and some more points about FIR filter is, okay, this filter can be realized using recursive structure as well as non-recursive structure. In the previous IIR filter design, we have discussed about direct form structures, cascade form structures and parallel form structures. Okay, now here we are adding some more structures for FIR apart from the previous. Okay, here we are going to discuss about linear phase structures as well as transposed structures, which means that so my H of Z can be implemented in the recursive type structures as well as non-recursive type structures. Okay, and another very important point while coming to the finite word length effect, that is called as round off noise, is very minimal in the case of non-recursive structure implementation. If I implement FIR filter using non-recursive structures, my round off noise will be very minimum. Okay, we will come to know what is round off noise and the truncation noise in the next unit, okay, in the upcoming lectures. And the last one, this I can say it is a drawback of FIR filter. Okay, so for the same specification, if I design a IIR and for the same specification if I design a FIR, then the order of the value will be more for FIR compared to IIR. Okay, for example, I have some passband attenuation, stop band attenuation and passband frequency, stop band frequency and so and so. For the same set of specifications, I am designing IIR filter as well as I am designing FIR filter. Okay, if I am getting n is equal to 2 in the IIR, then I will get n is equal to 10 in the FIR. Okay, so if order of the value is getting increased, then processing also getting increased, complexity also getting increased, so that the cost of the device is getting increased. Okay, so this one I can say it is a drawback of FIR filter. Okay, and what are the approaches for to design any FIR filter? There are as per our analysis, as per our syllabus, there are 3 important methods. Okay, one is Fourier series, windowing method and frequency sampling method. Okay, so the drawback in the Fourier series is Gibbs phenomena. Okay, which is nothing but truncation of infinite sequence to finite sequence. Because of the truncations, we are having that issue. That Gibbs phenomena will be overcome by windowing method. Okay, windowing method will eliminate this Gibbs phenomena by introducing some window sequence like Hanning, Hamming, rectangular, Blackman, Kaiser and so and so. And the third one is frequency sampling method. These are 3 different approaches we are going to see in the upcoming lectures. And the last and important topic of any FIR is how to find the frequency response. The frequency response of any FIR filter is categorized into 4. So based on your H of n as well as the order of the filter. Okay, if H of n is symmetry and n is odd, if H of n is symmetry and n is even, and so and so. Okay, so we are going to have 4 combinations: H of n is symmetry or asymmetry, n is even or n is odd. Now I am going to give the finalized value for this all 4 category. So any frequency response for any filters is given as h of e power j omega is equal to magnitude portion into the phase portion, that is e power j theta of omega. Okay, here I have taken 4 columns that you can look into here. So magnitude response. So when n is odd and h of n is symmetry, then magnitude of h of e power j omega is given as summation n is equal to 0 to capital N minus 1 by 2 a of n cos omega n, where a of 0 a of n is given as so and so. Okay, and similarly we can go for another category, that is when h of n is symmetry and n is even. Okay, in that case what is your magnitude function? Okay, here I use the variable b of n, that is summation n is equal to 1 to n by 2 b of n cos of n minus 1 by 2 omega, where b of n is equal to. Okay, similarly we can try for when h of n is asymmetry n is odd, when h of n is asymmetry n is even. Okay, here I used 4 variables: a for first category, b for second category, c for third and d for 4. It's only variable, it need not to be always A, B, C, D. You can use A also for all the 4 categories. Okay. Whenever I am getting symmetry, I will get cos function. Okay. Whenever I am getting asymmetry or antisymmetry, I will get sine as a function in the magnitude. Okay. And for odd value, the limit is n minus up to n minus 1 by 2. For even value, the limit is up to n by 2. Okay. This is magnitude response of any FIR filter based on the category. And the last one is phase response. Okay. I have told you very clearly, FIR filter is always a linear phase. Okay, which means that your phase should vary according with your omega. Whenever there is a changes in omega, there should be corresponding changes in the theta of omega also. Yeah, you can look into this once again based on 4 category. If you see all these 4 function, it is minus alpha omega, minus alpha omega, minus alpha omega, minus alpha omega, which means that theta of omega is directly proportional to omega. If there is any changes in omega, there should be corresponding changes in the theta of omega also. Okay, where alpha is nothing but n minus 1 by 2, it's a constant. Okay, based on the value of n. Okay, this all about this lectures. If you have any queries regarding this video, you can mail your queries to arunkumar@savitha.ac.in. Thank you.